Hello there, I'm Sconchulus, and this is TEPPEN Deck Teck, where I present to you decks that are fun, strong, or interesting. Today we are taking a look at xzero's signature one-turn combo deck, TENKUUHA, which aims to win the game out of nowhere using any number of our unblockable combos. The brand new centerpiece of this build is Cassandra Dimitrescu, who by bringing her two sisters is an immediate threat turn 1. The three sisters should guarantee some early damage, which is all this deck needs to set up our finisher with TENKUUHA, potentially using another Cassandra for the unblockable with Heavy Pierce. This turn 1 play is especially powerful backed up by any of our actions. A rare find and you get out of here are always useful to survive your trades and get more Heavy Pierces. Then you can go for one last dying blow with Merciless Hunt. Merciless is perfect for getting TENKUUHA up to the exact total you need to finish the game. Then, after any of the three sisters die, the card that elevates them above being just a one-trick gimmick is Enhanced Leadership, an immediate huge payoff for any investment we make onto the field. And since all of our units are 6 or 7 MP, this is always a bomb. The value basically pays for the full cost of Cassandra, and it lets you dodge plenty of important actions in the current meta, like the new red Supplemental, which, speaking of, I always forget to mention this. The Dimitrescu sisters are Supplemental cards, which means you have to unlock them from this soul shop. They're not available in any packs for whatever reason. The same is also true of Cyber Peacock and the absolute power Tigrex, which is part of our most busted combo with Enhanced Leadership. By using Leadership, we can turn Master Mounter from just a good damage spell to our deck's strongest enabler. First of all, Mounter will always get 2 attacks in on the unit, since all of our monsters have Rush. And since the threat will remove itself, most people don't block the damage, which sets us up for our finisher. Then, by using Enhanced Leadership, we turn that direct damage into pure value. Being able to recycle anything when it's close to dying keeps our deck going, but using it with Mounter is especially important, since it lets us play only the 4 strongest monsters without running out of targets. Those monsters are 3 Bar Lagual, which makes our Mounter into a powerful damage action as well, and the absolute power Tigrex, who is simply a massive killer that's hard to kill. Both of these guys having Rush makes them our best game enders for a minimum 10 damage with TENKUUHA. Merciless Hunter can make these numbers even bigger and is another perfect combo with Mounter, since they both remove the unit. And next, by far our strangest unit, which just happens to make the perfect backbone and the third axis of TENKUUHA for the deck, we have Cyber Peacock. This Maverick is a 2/7 flight unit, another form of unblockable TENKUUHA, and whenever we activate an action, they will place a 3/2 sea catch onto the field to provide constant halt and board control. Aside from controlling the field and clearing enemies, this gives us one more opportunity for a 10 damage rush TENKUUHA. The Cyber Peacock is a bit of an enigma, but their easiest and most important use is just being that guaranteed finisher with flight. So even without mastering their resonate and learning how to heal around it or make sick plays like using Merciless Hunt on your sea catches, Cyber Peacock will do a ton for the deck just by being a 6 MP flyer to get off leadership, who will throw around a ton of inevitable direct damage to get our enemy in TENKUUHA range. And last of all, we have our legendary units, all playable with Enhanced Leadership. We already mentioned the absolutely fabulous Tigrex, our star finisher, and we have both forms of Dante also ready to end the game. SDT is obviously preferred thanks to Rush and his instant win attacking effect, but Devil Hunter Dante is at his strongest in this type of deck, being the original card to put a clock on your opponent. And our last unit is the infamous Lady D. You should all know her at this point. She really kills people, and we can do it even faster with TENKUUHA. It's also really sick when you can use Extraction on one of her daughters or any of your other TENKUUHA finishers. Our very last cards are 1 Brainwashed and 1 Aid to Domination. These are very important just to survive, but also make an amazing way to remove blockers right before you go for a TENKUUHA. TENKUUHA on a stolen unit is also super nasty, and our final card is 2 Unforeseen Interference so that our combos cannot be stopped. Here's the deck QR for you, and with all that said, let's get into it. Game 1, we are up against our eternal rival and the previous best hero in the game, X. Hopefully his nerfs will make this matchup doable for a rogue deck like ours. Our opponent starts off with the exact card they need to get their combos going, but thankfully we have exactly the same with Cassandra. They follow that up with Felicia and Advanced Artifact X, triggering the first part of their combo and defeating 2 of our sisters, but we have the head of the family, Lady D, which should be able to defeat X before they play the third piece of their combo. Unfortunately, they can shield Extraction, but she will still go up to 4 attack, which will be able to defeat X even after the third piece of the combo buffs him, and she will activate her Decimate, healing herself even more. Our opponent activates White Cat Circus, and we're able to respond with Monster Mounter, which will play Barlagwal and defeat their princess. We're able to use TENKUUHA for 10 damage, and Lady Dimitrescu gets in, taking game 1. Game 2, we are up against Ada Wong Blackout. And I hope you didn't blink on that last one, because these can go pretty quickly. So hopefully this time we'll have a chance to see a bit more interaction. We'll start off with one of our 2 good early units, when our opponent doesn't do anything, Cyber Peacock. Our opponent uses Nocturnal Enchantment and will respond with a rare find to resonate and then heal our Cyber Peacock back up. And after that, our opponent will use Foresight. We have some damage coming in, but they are able to block it with Ganado, which must mean they are on the full Faith Steel package. We'll play down Barlagwal to defeat the Josie Kuroda. They play at the exact same time, and he is able to get a Decimate Searching Agility. We will then use Enhanced Leadership to turn them back into another Barlagwal and get a Sea Catch to stun our opponent's Lilith. They respond to that with Nocturnal Enchantment, which will debuff our entire field thanks to Faith and give us the opportunity for a rare find. Our Barlagwal will defeat their Ganado, which decimates again, but we don't have the EX pocket full for it. Our opponent plays down a 5/6 Lilith, and we will play down another Cyber Peacock, activating Agility to put the pressure on our opponent, but they have Brainwashed to deny it. Thankfully for us, when it goes to their side of the field, the Agility will whiff, and we will use our handgun now to defeat their Lilith and keep our Sea Catch alive. The Sea Catch that we have right in front of their Cyber Peacock, we will attempt to defeat with it using Merciless Hunt, but our opponent responds with Scrap Manipulator, and thinking it's below memory, we will use another Merciless Hunt, but that just gives them a stronger Sea Catch. At the very least, it will remove itself, however. And now we will play down another Cyber Peacock and decide the best way to defeat theirs is just to trade Sea Catches. Our opponent uses Scrap Manipulator to try and steal our Cyber Peacock, but they misunderstood the Resonate and they completely wasted it. We will then use our handgun to force out the last Resonate on their Cyber Peacock, and they will use Aid to Domination to steal our Cyber Peacock into their deck. It's a real hard card to remove without any hard removal. Now with our TENKUUHA ready, we have a couple of good cards to get in the damage. We will play down the Dimitrescu sisters, and our opponent will remove one of them, which will lower the damage for this TENKUUHA by 2. Thankfully, we still get in a massive 10 damage, and now with 2 more excellent finishers, all we need to do is charge up, and we should be able to find the opportunity to end the game. Our opponent will use Natural Fanatic to keep their cycle going and hopefully find some options to contest the TENKUUHA that's coming down, and they will keep cycling. All we need to do is to play down at least something to get in. We'll start with our Absolute Power Tigrex. They will play 2 Josie Kurodas followed by Sadler, taking the bait, and we can use SDT Dante and TENKUUHA for exact lethal, taking game 2. Game 3, we are up against Feline Choral Orchestra. A deck that can spiral huge value while having access to all kinds of nonsense. Hopefully our gimmicks are even better than theirs. Surprisingly, our opponent starts off with Fong, meaning they're on black rather than the more popular purple, and we're able to block it using Cassandra's anti-air. We use a rare find to heal our important sister, and our opponent responds with Disarm, which will lower her damage by 1. We are able to use another rare find to get another handgun, and our opponent will use Unwavering Faith to potentially get something very dangerous to their EX, and we will use Enhanced Leadership to get ourselves a free Cyber Peacock. We're able to get in 3 direct damage with Heavy Pierce, and our opponent will play down Birdie, which will be defeated by our handgun. We'll get in a bit more damage, and our opponent will play down Gar, which could single-handedly turn this game around for them. We will use Merciless Hunt so that our Cyber Peacock will be able to survive the trade, and our opponent plays down Mother Miranda, which will thankfully not become Gar because his MP is too high. We will use Enhanced Leadership, and we will use TENKUUHA to defeat their Gar, the kind of split decisions you need to make to get out of these situations. And SDT, Dante, and Barlick Wall, thanks to Rush, will be able to secure Game 3. Here we are again, and this deck works way better than you would ever think it does. The synergy between all of our units and Enhanced Leadership puts on so much constant value that setting up the finisher with TENKUUHA is inevitable. I'm not even going out of my way to just pick the wins either. When I was playing this deck, I was getting some solid 5 or 6 win streaks. But if you're trying to top ladder and get top 100, like I was this season, you probably will want something a little higher ceiling and more consistent than this. If you're just trying to get champ and cause trouble in the 1800 range, then this is the perfect deck. Unfortunately, next season it will lose one very powerful card in Merciless Hunt, but I think there's a solid replacement in the next set in the form of Laser Shuttle, which can lock one of your opponent's board slots to guarantee one of your rush units get in the TENKUUHA. I think the deck will be pretty much just as strong as it is right now, thanks to the power of the core units. I also have a more budget 2 access version here for you that's leaning on the power of Sengoku. I think Enhanced Leadership might not be quite as good in this version, since you only have the one target and it's just as likely that you break away back into another Cassandra. It's probably a lot less consistent than this version, but using the new lock card you should be able to mitigate that a bit. As far as matchups go, Black can do almost nothing against this strategy since all of our units are above their seals, and if they go for Titanic, we're just gonna bounce it back and go for another big unit. Purple also has a hard time removing our threats without giving us the same opportunity. Red has a much better time clearing our threats and is also just as good at aggro as we are. And green, if they get set up, can be pretty hard to break through, but hopefully you're able to high roll them and TENKUUHA before that's a problem. I would recommend the deck to anybody who loves stealing a game with a big finish. As for the next episode, we're obviously playing some Jurassic Rampage, and I'm particularly excited for green monsters and purple 4s. Let me know down below which one you guys would rather see or what you're excited to play. Please like the video if you liked the video, subscribe if you subscribed. Once again, I'm Scontulus, and I'll see you in the next one.